Hey everyone out there, welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Weekly. And guys, I am your host, Mike Spider Slayer, and these are my other hosts, Cat Comic Uno and Brant Fowler. Say hello, everybody.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hello, everybody.
So today we have a pretty good show for you, we hope. We got some big comic books to talk about this week. And there was some huge news this week when it came to like DC Comics and all that other kinds of crazy stuff. So we'll talk about all that. So hopefully you guys will enjoy the show. And remember, give this show a like and all that great stuff along the way as well. So Kat, go ahead and kick off the show with some cool news.
Yeah, we have a ton of news. I feel like even in a normal instance, it would be like, oh, just future state stuff. But there's like TV shows and everything like that that was announced as well. So we're going to start out with the media stuff. I'm seeing a lot of comments, so welcome everybody. So yeah, let's get into the media stuff. First up, Mandalorian is going to be included in the new Fortnite season. I am not caught up on Mandalorian or have even seen the pilot, but popular show. So what do you guys think?
I absolutely love Mandalorian. It's like one of my favorite shows right now. It's just so good. So that's like really cool for me. I mean, I haven't played Fortnite in a long time, but yeah, just the inclusion of that character in particular is just cool. So.
Yeah, I agree. I actually love the show. Unfortunately, I've only watched 2 episodes of this season so far. And I've heard that this season's been really good, so I'm looking forward to watching more. My son plays Fortnite, and he's been telling me about the Mandalorian stuff that's in it, so he's excited about it as well because me and him watch Mandalorian together. So that's why we're hard, because it's hard to find time together to actually watch the show.
Yeah,
sure.
These last, I'm not going to spoil it for you, Mike, but these last 2 episodes have been really good. Surprising.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I heard the one episode had that secret person in the background. I heard about that.
Yeah.
But that show is so good, man. It's hard to believe that that's just a TV show. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so awesome. Even these first 2 episodes, even if it hasn't really tapped into the main storyline all that much yet, it's just the creatures that he's fighting and stuff is so awesome.
Yeah.
Let's get into, I see Mike Manhattan. He asked us to talk about the Colonel Sanders commercial in Lifetime. Don't know if that's for a comic book show, but I will give it a shout out. That does exist. There is a Colonel Sanders movie with Mario Lopez as the star as Colonel Sanders, and there's some love affair going on with the chicken recipe. So if you guys haven't seen the trailer, go check that one out. It's a ride.
Interesting casting for Colonel Sanders there.
It is very interesting. They wanted to go the sexy way for Colonel Sanders.
I wonder if he calls anybody mama, and that's what he used to call
I hope
Jesse
so.
and Saved by the Bell. Yeah, exactly.
I hope you at least have that reference. But yeah, there's the shout out, Mike Manhattan, for that trailer. But we're gonna get into Warner Brothers.
We lose Mike. Yeah.
Oh, do we lose Mike? We won't talk about that yet because actually Mike marked that down, so I'll wait for that one. Let's start talking about Naomi though, which is getting a television show. Finally, not by Berlanti, but from Ava. Don't know if I can pronounce her. Duvernay, who did like Selma and is doing the new Gods and the new Gods. Sorry, that's my phone saying low battery. Who also did the new Gods movie or is doing the new Gods movie. Very excited for this because again, I want a show that's not just feeling the same with Berlanti. So, and I really enjoyed Naomi from what we've seen. So I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I'm excited for it as well, and hopefully you guys can hear me a little bit because I think my connection's going in and out. But
oh, you're good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I think this is really cool news, and the fact that we're getting another DC superhero show that's possibly not the same formula is even better. But just Naomi, I know you and I, Kat, really enjoyed the comic series, so seeing her, her story, which is really interesting and really cool, that translating to live action is going to be fun.
Yeah, I agree. Should be interesting. So now that Mike's back, I think he's fully back, right?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. So we're going to now talk about that big news with Warner Brothers releasing all their new movies on HBO Max. Theaters are upset because they're like, how can you do this? But, I mean, they tried with Tenet, and it really did not work. So I think this is understandable. I can't wait to see Wonder Woman on Christmas. We literally, as a family, just watched I've seen Wonder Woman a lot, but this is the first time my family has seen Wonder Woman. So it's cool that even people maybe who haven't seen the original now want to watch the original to watch the sequel on Christmas, because no one's really doing anything on Christmas because no one could go anywhere. So I think it's cool. I'm excited to see what movies they're going to end up having.
I still don't have HBO Max, so it's not like I can watch it anyway. So it's not really a big deal. It looks like I'm gonna have to wait until it comes out on like Blu-ray or something. But I mean, when it makes sense at this point. I mean, how long are you going to wait? That you can't keep delaying all these movies. It's got to get to the point where, you know what, it sucks. You got to kind of eat it. But you still got to move forward with your plans. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, it kind of delays everything that you have in place going forward. Just in any type of movie franchise or whatnot. You just got to deal it. Just release it already. You know?
Yeah, I think it's really cool because, again, not theaters, even the ones that are open, are not open to full capacity and everything.
Right.
A lot of people are missing out. Because a lot of people don't want to take that chance too. They want to go out in those bigger crowds and stuff. Me being one of them. It's I think it's smart on Warner Brothers' part to do it this way. I think that should have been. I think that should have been the decision months ago. And I understand theaters being upset about it, but if they're not making the money that they would in the theaters anyway, why not kind of double dip? It's like those that want to see it in theaters are still going to go see it in theaters, right? If they have the opportunity. But I think for all of us that are at home, that's a really cool thing, and we get to watch those movies if you have HBO Max, which I thankfully do. So. You're muted, Kat.
I'm on mute. Yeah, I'm on mute. The only reason I have HBO Max because I have HBO, or else I don't know if I would have had it. So I think that's interesting.
Yeah, we have it through something. I don't remember. Lisa would know. It's through some service we have. I don't know if it's YouTube TV or Hulu or something. Some way we got a deal. So
because that's hard because there's so many streaming services.
Yeah.
But that's the big movie news from this week. We also have, I saw this in the comments as well, so someone wants us to talk about it. Female-led Plastic Man movie in the works. That's interesting because the character is Plastic Man. So I'm really, really curious how it's gonna be a female-led Plastic Man movie. I'm intrigued. Definitely call me intrigued here. So we'll see. I don't know much about Plastic Man, so I don't know if there is an opportunity for that to happen, or I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, don't have too much to say. Just really like, okay, let's see something when it comes out to us and what it would be like.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. I think the thing is the headline says it all there. Especially because we just don't know anything else besides that.
A female.
That can mean so many different things. Yeah.
Man, that's weird.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like a Plastic Man-like character that's female. Maybe it's Plastic Woman. Who knows? Or not.
Or just like it's the mythos, or I don't know, the gender bend something. It'll be cool. Joseph says, I wonder if drive-in movies will come back. I've been seeing them come back, at least in my area, and it seems like a lot of people's areas is happening. So
they've kind of had me to come back already in certain ways. They've been bringing them back, or people have been finding ways to watch movies in general, outside. Now that they make these projector movies, projectors where you can display them everywhere,
Yeah.
I mean, in the summer it's nice. In the winter it's hard, so that's not the easy answer. But I've definitely seen them, and hopefully they keep coming back even after all this. hopefully after all this COVID. Another thing that was announced was the Kingsman is getting 7 movies and a TV show.
Where did that come from, man?
Right? Like, I like
Wow.
Kingsman. Yeah, 7 movies.
Wow.
I like Kingsman, but I don't really need 7 movies. I didn't know if the second one did like extremely well. I know the first one surprisingly did well.
Yeah, I like the first one. I never got around to watching the second one, but I didn't.
Yeah,
I don't
me
remember
too.
it I don't remember it like blowing up or anything. So that was
not
surprising.
enough to get 7 movies worth.
Right.
Yeah, that's something.
It's crazy.
We are going to talk about the new Deathstroke play like. We're going to get to the comic news. We're saving that up. Yeah, that is the Kingsman news, though. And the other big news that came up today was Dr. Octopus is going to be in Spider-Man 3, the Spider-Man 2 Dr. Octopus. So I still call this a rumor. There are people trying to confirm that Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Kristen Dunst are confirmed for this new movie. But the sites that have confirmed it, I still don't think are reliable enough. They're not trade sites. I would really wait until like a Deadline or Hollywood Reporter has reported on this, and they haven't. So we're not going to talk about that because it hasn't been confirmed. But we will talk about Dr. Octopus. And yeah, this movie's going to be crazy. I love Spider-Man 2. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And Dr. Octopus is definitely a reason for that. I think he's a great villain. And like I said, you have Electro from Amazing Spider-Man. Now you have this Sinister Six, but is it going to be like different, multiverses?
Yeah.
What's going on with this?
It sounds like it could be, if you have the different Spider-Mans in there, then it makes sense that it would be like a multiverse type of Spider-Man, right? But if you don't have the other Spider-Mans in there, then maybe it's more like a Sinister Six type of movie where they're bringing back those characters to maybe make that original Sinister Six that they said they were going to make so long ago, remember, in those original movies. I mean, because think about it right now, if you have Dr. Octopus in there and then you have Electro in there, so you got 2 of them right there, right? And I don't know who else is going to be in that movie, but we know we got those 2 so far. But if they did though bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, holy shit, that would be insane. It really would.
That'd be really cool. Just as it is, bringing back Doc Ock, and I agree with you, Cad. It's rare that a sequel is better than the original, and I think in that case, Spider-Man 2 is the superior of the Tobey movies.
Absolutely.
It's smart if you're going to bring somebody from the past back to bring him back. But yeah, I hope it is kind of like a Spider-Verse thing, and they do get confirmations for all these casts, because it would be really cool just to see all these Spider-Man teaming up or at different stages in their life, and it's going to be fun, either way. So
I'm seeing Tavia and Kenneth said that the Hollywood Reporter confirmed Tobey Maguire in them. I don't think they did. I just searched it. So if you guys have a link, definitely share it. If they did, we'll discuss that. But again, I did not see any confirmation on that from a trade site. I even just searced it now, and I only saw the Dr. Octopus news. But definitely missing. So if I did miss it, love the link on that one. So that's all the media news. We're gonna go into the huge amount of comic news. We're gonna save the future state for last, so we're gonna talk about all the other stuff first. And first up is Nonstop Spider-Man being pushed again. And this is a series I wasn't really excited for, because it was gonna be an action Spider-Man book, and I love my Spidey, but sometimes there's too many Spider-Man stories unless they have something to say, and I'm like, I don't need just something that's an action book. So I'm curious where that's going.
Yeah, that's my only pause with it, is because the strength of Spidey is his supporting cast and how he deals with all protecting all those around him. That's kind of who Spider-Man is. It's all about keeping everyone he loves safe. So when you take that out and it's just nonstop action, it's like, do you lose a little something? I mean, visually it'll probably be cool, but story-wise, I don't know.
How about you, Mike? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, it's just like when it comes to this series, like, of course, I'll always try it out. I'm
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Bachelot's artwork, so it's just like
Hmm.
he's doing the artwork in there. But I heard when I read the article, there's going to be a second artist on it as well. So maybe it would help it from being further delayed. Um, you know, it's one of those things for me where it's just like I'll see what this series is like when it actually comes out. Because the last time we had, new Spider-Man series come out, which was Chip Zdarsky's series, and I wasn't a fan of that story at all. And
Yeah.
but he's doing a phenomenal job at Daredevil. I just think he wasn't a right fit for Spider-Man. And then we also had Tom Taylor's run on his Spider-Man book, and I wasn't a fan of that one either. We weren't fans of that, unfortunately. So it's
Yeah.
just like we've had so many Spider-Man books, but this is kind of one where it's just like, okay, well, I'll check it out when it comes out, and if it's good, it's good. But I don't have high expectations for it because I wasn't a fan of the original artwork for it.
Yeah, the one positive about it, and Mike Manhattan brought that up. Yes, if it was Joe Casey or Joe Kelly writing it. It's Joe Kelly, and he wrote two of my favorite issues of Spider-Man when they were doing the new writer practically every couple of issues during the 600s.
Oh yeah,
and he wrote those Rhino issues, and those were fantastic. And
those
so
ones were
that's
good.
yeah, so that's one thing that gives me hope that it could be at least a strong story too. So I guess we'll wait and see, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening there. If you guys hear a little background noise, it'll only be for 5 minutes. I'm sorry, guys, but hopefully there's not too much. But yeah, first, the next one is Children of the Atom gets pushed 2 months, which I was surprised by this just because of X of Swords. We had such a, progression with that. We want new X-Men titles. We're on a ride. So I'm curious why they had to push this one.
Yeah,
I think part of it wasn't this supposed to come out though? Also, like, I thought this got pushed back because of COVID, not because of Ten of Swords.
Oh no, it did. But I was saying this would have been a good time for it to come out right
Okay.
after Ten of Swords. So I'm surprised it's being pushed again.
Right.
I guess it is because of COVID, but why this title in particular being pushed back?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I am curious to see what this series has to offer. It's kind of interesting. Just all these, I guess, younger versions of the X-Men, or they're like little sidekicks to them or something like that?
I don't remember. Yeah, some younger version of something, but I don't know. I think there were new X-Men. I don't remember.
I'm sorry, I missed a little part of that. I was answering a question.
It's cool.
What are we talking about?
Children of the Atom is being pushed 2 months from now.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was using some of the new X-Men in it, right? Is that what you guys were saying?
Yeah. We're saying, like, is it like, who are they? I don't remember.
Oh, they were like, is it like teen versions? Like, is that the one that has like a guy that looks like Cyclops, but he's got blonde hair and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's the same one.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know exactly who they are either, but they're like the same powers as the people that are mentored.
Yeah.
So it's got to be
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Maybe they're like clones or something.
Yeah,
so
maybe.
we'll see with that one. We're getting a lot of Deathstroke comments. We're gonna get there, guys. We're saving it for last. We're getting there. So let's see if there's other Marvel news. So we also have Marvel Aliens title gets a creative team. Actually, a writer who's been writing for DC, and that is Philip Kennedy Johnson, and then artist is Salvatore Larocca. And I don't know that artist, but Aliens, they have a
You
book
don't know that
coming
artist?
out. No,
Extreme X-Men.
Salvador LaRocca, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, are you guys excited for that? I'm not gonna pick it up, because it's Aliens, and I've seen the movie, but I'm not like hardcore.
I'm not an Aliens fan, so
yeah.
No.
I am going to check it out because I want to see what they do with the franchise. That's what I'm curious, because I don't find it being just like a typical Aliens book. I find it like it's going to branch. I feel like it should. or it might eventually branch out through the Marvel characters. That I think might be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be really awesome.
I would. Yeah. You'll have to tell us, Mike.
Conan. Yeah, you'll have to let us know. If it's a week where nothing's coming out, maybe I'll pick up Aliens, but there has to be very little coming out.
There's never a week where nothing is coming out anymore.
Christmas.
Christmas.
That's true, though. That is so true. I don't remember the last time like my books have been like 8 books or so. All right, let's get into the next thing. You're hearing a lot of clashing. That is okay. Well, okay, thank you. The next thing, I don't know if you guys want to talk about it, but it was one of the recent stories that came out, which is I swear there's not as much clacking.
Stop the phone.
Oh, no. There's a band playing in my kitchen. My brother is over this week, which is why I was late. And also, we ate dinner late. So now they're all
good.
Now it's cleaning the dishes time.
It is cleaning the dishes time. But going back to it, Rob Liefeld's returning to Marvel to celebrate Deadpool's 30th anniversary after he said, once again, I'm not going to Marvel. He's back. What do you guys? Yeah, I don't need more Deadpool. I'm good. And that's all I have to say about it. But that was kind of a news that came out this week. Let's get into the DC news, though. Let's get into it.
Yes.
The first thing we'll get into is Swamp Thing is getting a series by Rom V. So this is a mini series, though. So that was announced as non-ongoing. It is a mini series. So what do you guys think? Are you going to pick up Swamp Thing? Rom V did Justice League Dark, and I believe he's doing Catwoman currently.
Yeah, I mean, it's Swamp Thing. In the last Swamp Thing that I actually read was like Scott Snyder's Swamp Thing, which was really good. And I'm not like a overly huge fan of it, so I don't know if I'll pick that up or not. It's still yet to be determined. It might be something where I might hear from you guys and see if I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll pick it up. But I'm not excited for it.
You'll maybe be hearing from the commenters. I don't think I'm getting Swamp Thing.
No, I've never been a Swamp Thing fan. I like the TV show back in the 90s or whatever. Other than that, it kind of bores me, the green and all that stuff. I just can't get into it. You
didn't read Scott Snyder's Swamp Thing though, Brent?
I did read some of it. I ended up dropping it. Some of it was okay. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, it just never grabs me.
I read it in the trades. Like, I didn't read it in single issues. And in that run read very well in trade, I felt. And so I liked it.
I do actually have one of those trades. And I did enjoy that trade that I have, yeah.
Right.
I think I only read the crossover of that, like when it crossed over with Animal Man, but I don't think I've read it.
Yeah, that's right.
I love Animal Man. I thought that was great. I mean, that whole entire stuff from the New 52, like the horror line, was really good.
No, we're
gonna have all the pots and pans. We're getting so many comments about pots and pans. Don't worry.
And I just want to welcome all the viewers that are tuning in right now. We're just getting into that DC news, so stay tuned to it.
We're working our way there.
Wouldn't you guys be upset if we talked about Nightwing first? Like, we'd be leading up to nothing. We'd talk about Swamp Thing last, and we'd just be like, yeah, none of us are reading it. We want to build up to Nightwing. We're building it up. My Twitter account, Willie, is @ComicUno. I think it's on the side. So all of our Twitter accounts, I believe, is actually on the bottom. I think that's Brant's as well. Not Mike's.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's different, but that is Brant's as well. But I think if you type in that for Mike, you'll find him on Twitter.
I think Mike's in Spider Slayer.
I don't even use my Twitter.
Yeah.
I just use it to like retweet everyone else's stuff, but I don't even use it. You just follow me on my YouTube channel, Comic Book Corner 2.0. I have an Instagram, or just join my Facebook group page. That's what you can follow. That's what I have. So it's Comic Book Corner 2.0 Webheads Unite, and you can join that.
All right, let's go into not Nightwing, because we're not going to talk about that until last. We're going to make you guys stew. We're going to talk about Batman and Superman and the Harley Quinn new series. Most of these series are going to be written by the people who have already written the Future State book. So same thing for Batman. I don't know. Does Batman and Superman even have a Future State book? I don't know about that one, but Harley Quinn is the same writer as the Harley Quinn Future State book. Harley, I'm enjoying her in Batman. I don't know if I need an ongoing from her. I understand. I think it's really great that we're getting that from DC, but personally, I don't know if I'm going to add it on my pull list. Batman and Superman, same thing. I've always been burned with Batman and Superman. It doesn't feel like much ever happens in those books.
Yeah, I mean, aside from that very original Superman Batman comic, way back, you get a few issues in, and it's this is not keep my interest. And same thing with Harley. But go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, I was just going to say same thing. I mean, I'm going to try it just like I would with anything else that's, being released or new creative team, see how it is. I tried the most recent Batman Superman series with the whole infected situation. And that was okay. Yeah. And for story arc. And then after that, I kind of fell off of it, but I'm definitely going to give it a try. I want to give all these books a decent try.
Same for most of them. Oh, you go, Brant. Sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
I was
just saying the artist on.
You go.
I must be on a delay. I'm sorry. I was just going to say the artist for Batman Superman is Ivan Rice, and I love his art, so that makes me want to look at it. So
that's definitely interesting. Going back to the Future State thing, I think most of them I'm going to try. I'm definitely going to give a wider try now, knowing that it is affecting the wider DC universe. But there's still books that I don't know if I want to read, like Superman. I just don't know if I need to read those 2 Superman books, like the War of whatever. And there's another Superman book because that's Superboy driven. So there's some stuff that I'm not interested in, but I do want to give a bigger try, I think. Or that which books do you feel like you weren't originally gonna get, but now that it's gonna be a bigger event, you're gonna get?
I'm actually gonna try out everything. Now that I knew that it's tying into what's going forward, I will literally try everything. Most of the series, most of them are only 2 issues. You know what I'm saying? So I think. Batman, I think, is 4 issues, but a lot of them are only 2. So can I jump on board for 2 issues? Yeah, absolutely. I think I can. I think what I'm doing is I'm going to go through my pull list, see which current books I'm not currently really digging so much, and make those cuts, and then try something new and see how it is. Kind of did that this week in general because I'm going to be reading all the King in Black tie-ins. So I'm kind of cutting the stuff.
Drop, you feel? Which ones did you feel like you cut?
For what? For King in Black?
I guess for both. For this event, what do you think you're going to cut? And which ones?
Right. I mean, I don't know. I haven't really dug deep into it yet. When it comes out, that's when I'll really make that decision on what books I'm going to cut. But if there's anything, I can't think of anything on the top of my head that I'm just not totally enjoying. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be I think I can skip this one. Or if I would normally buy something, just off of impulse, I might not do it because I know I'm buying Future State. Or I might just buy less variant covers because I tend to buy a lot of variant covers or whatnot. So, and I just want to kind of check out these stories. So some way or another, I'll compensate for making up the difference there.
I don't even remember which topic we were on for that one. So Batman, Superman, Harley Quinn. Any other comments on that one?
No, I mean, I think out of those 2 titles, Harley Quinn, I'm least excited for. Batman, Superman, like Brant said, the artwork on there should be really awesome.
Yeah, I think you've got a good plan going into that, Mike, with taking a look at what you can drop at least temporarily. I'm kind of wanting to try them too, and maybe that'll help me make a decision on what I
have to try them.
Yeah, let's just all try them. So I'll try.
Okay, for you guys and for us, we'll try every single Future State book. I can't believe we're saying that, but I might not get them all physically. I might read some of them digitally, but I will at least read every first issue of the Future State books. I think I can promise that.
I will say I'm not reading all the King and Black tie-ins though.
No, I'm not either. We'll discuss that. But
yeah, we'll discuss
guys,
that.
thank you for 50 viewers. We'll get more
awesome.
to this kitchen. If there's more viewers to be had, we'll get more clanking. I promise you. We'll get a whole band. Aren't these B-list writers? Yeah, that's actually an interesting question. That's kind of what I like about Future State. I'm tired of having the same voices over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Give me writers that are new.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't call them B-list. I would call them
Fresh.
new writers.
Fresh and new. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what makes me excited for this event is like hearing new people.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's kind of like everyone sits there and it says, well, DC's doing this and DC's doing that. If you want things to change, you have to put people on different books and you have to change your writers. You're not going to get different results if you keep doing the same old thing. So just because you don't know these writers doesn't mean that they're not good writers. Give them a chance. See what they have to offer. They might surprise you and you might actually like these books. So before, you can't really knock something before you haven't even read the book, right? So look at it that way instead of looking at it as, oh, this is just a generic bunch of writers writing some shit. That's not what it's about. It's giving other people a chance,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think you can find your new writer. And we do have the question, like, where are these A-listers? A lot of the A-listers are still working in DC. You still have James Tynion on Batman. You still, I mean, even if you like her or not, it's because I saw someone in the comments say they don't like her as a writer, but Mariko Tamaki, who I do like, we'll talk about her going to Detective Comics. So we do still have A-list writers writing stuff. We still have to, again, like him or not, we have Tom King writing Batman and Catwoman. We know Tom King's going to write another DC title. So they're still at DC. We're just getting chances for newer writers to write other characters, which again I think is great. And yeah, thank you guys for all these great comments. Keep them coming. And we're gonna get into the next topic here, which is let's talk about Detective Comics. So Detective Comics has a new creative team. I know some people are upset that Peter J. Tomasi is leaving, but we do have Mariko Tamaki and Dan Mora on art for that one.
Dan Mora freaking great artist for that book.
Oh my God.
That would be awesome just to look at it, And Tamaki on the right. Oh, just go ahead if you want to talk about the art for him.
Yeah, I was just going to agree with you. I'm so excited to see Mora's take on the Batman, side of the universe for DC. I love Dan Mora's work.
Right. And Tamaki, listen, I get Peter J. Tomasi, I feel bad for the guy myself because he does a lot, and every time you think he's getting somewhere with a title, it's like he gets yanked from it. So hopefully he'll get something else. Just hopefully he doesn't get pulled from it. I think he's a good talent. Tamaki on Batman is, it's one of those things. She's currently on Wonder Woman, finishing up her short run on there, and it wasn't a bad run. I thought it was good. She's an acquired taste, I feel. How she will do on Detective is still yet to be determined. But again, like I said earlier, don't knock it until you read it. It might surprise you. You don't know. Okay, that's all I can say right now.
Yeah,
yeah, you go, Brad. Sorry.
I was just gonna say what I love about the approach is that you're trying Mariko Tamaki on different things, and you're getting a taste of that's the vibe for that character or whatever. So now we've seen Tamaki on Wonder Woman. Now we get to see Tamaki on Batman, and it's just like once you find that perfect fit, it's going to be so good, So I love it. I love both giving newer writers a opportunity at the big guns, and also just kind of giving us some variety and kind of putting it out there and seeing what fans actually kind of cling to, what they like.
Yeah, I think Mariko Tamaki, for me, like I've loved stories from her, and I haven't liked stories from her as well. Like Wonder Woman was kind of hot and cold for me. Like I liked the first arc, didn't really like the rest of it. She-Hulk also, I thought some issues were great, and then others I really didn't like. I love Supergirl being super is one of my favorite DC comics in recent years. I think that's great, and every issue was wonderful of that book. So I'm excited for Mariko to take over. Because also, like a queer woman on a DC, like a Batman book, that has never happened on a flagship Batman book. I think that's amazing. So just getting a very new voice on Batman, is really important. Then you have Dan Moore on artwork, which is, I hope he stays for a long time. I'm excited. And then going to the Peter J. Tomasi thing, he's been working at DC for so long, and he's written Batman for like 10 years now. He wrote that Batman and Robin series when Batman and Robin came out. That was his series. He's been on these characters for so long. Let's get someone new. He's written the DC animated films. He's written so much DC. Maybe have him write something else. And not maybe at DC, sure, but just not Batman and Superman, because they're the two characters, the only characters I feel like he's written really. Give him a chance for something else.
Superman, though, he didn't get a chance to finish his story because of Bendis. So he got.
I like the way it wrapped up, though.
Because he forced it to wrap up. I think he had a lot more story to tell there. But again, if people don't dig Marco Tamaki's writing on Detective, listen, you got plenty of other Batman to read. You don't have to read Detective if you don't like it, right? There's Batman out there for somebody. So if that's not your style of Batman, once it comes out and you don't like it, then read something else. You got Tynion's Batman, you got Sean Murphy's Batman, and then you got all these other Batman titles.
Yeah, there's so much Batman. Like, you don't have to, like Mike said, you don't have to read Detective Comics if you don't want to, but I think it's great to have a new voice, like we've been saying. I think there was another, no, that was just it for that little piece. So we're going to go into Wonder Woman now, because that was the book she was writing, which I feel like it's so weird that she's already leaving it. So we do have Becky Cloonan, who's writing Wonder Woman, who's, obviously a known writer. And then Michael C. Conrad, who I don't know. And then Travis Moore is the artist for the book. It's kind of cool to see the image. It's interesting to see the supporting cast members. We still have Liar Liar. We got Cassie way in the background, so she's probably going to have nothing to do. But I'm going to give it a shot. I keep giving these Wonder Woman books a shot. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, we've said it before, even with Tamaki's run, before she started on it. We're like, we'll give it a try, see how it is. If we don't like it, we won't read it going forward, because it's a different writer on the book. And I've somewhat enjoyed her run on it, and I'll try it again. We'll see where it goes, right?
Yeah. I've liked some of Becky Cloonan's writing in the past. So, and I just looked up Travis Moore. That's who you said, Travis Moore?
Mm-hmm. I think
really gorgeous art. So I'm actually kind of excited about that. I think that'll be it could be really, really good. So
yeah, I like the thumbnail, and so we'll see where that goes. But I'm interested. It goes back to, like, I'm so excited that we have so much DC news to talk about, because especially me and Mike, like, we've had discussions like post show where we're like, what is coming out from DC, and like what's exciting, and at least this, like, there's something exciting to talk about and something new to talk about with DC, which is awesome.
Yeah,
it's been a while to get here.
Been a while.
It's definitely been a while. All right, going into a new Suicide Squad book, and this is very much towards the movie. So it's going to be John Cena's character. Peacemaker seems like he's going to be the main character, and Harley's not in it, which I'm not surprised, because it seems like Harley, especially this year, has become more of a hero than anything. So I don't think she fits a Suicide Squad book anymore, because she doesn't really play an anti-hero anymore. I think she's just full-blown hero, which has been a very interesting development.
I don't know how this Suicide Squad book is going to take place after what we just read.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we're going to get to this point. So that's why I'm just like dumbfounded. I don't know what to say, because it's like at the end of that last run, we're like, oh yeah, that's the end of Task Force S. X, and now you get announced that there's a new Suicide Squad book being released. So I just don't know even where to begin unless this book takes place like more into the future itself. I don't know. I'm kind of speechless on this one.
Yeah, or maybe it takes some kind of different form. It's not exactly the same concept. They change it up somehow, or it's just another organization comes in, swoops in, and starts it all over again. I don't know. It's hard to say at this point, but I'll try it.
We have Mohammed asks, is Harley Quinn now becoming Deadpool DC?
Becoming?
I think the opposite. I think she was, but I don't think she is much anymore.
Yeah, I think especially what's been going on in Batman, she's kind of stepped out of that role and is becoming more of a stabilized character at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like what we talked about, Brent, like earlier in the year, like when she had her own series out. It's just like, I know we talked about it. We had this exact conversation about her being more consistent across the board. Like, how is she going to be? How she is in her Harley Quinn book, or how she was, like, say, in Heroes in Crisis. Remember when that was out? Like, she was a more serious toned character, and then she wound up being in Batman when Tynion started writing it. And I was like, oh, that's how I like Harley, how she's written in Batman. So you make a good point there. I think they have stabilized her and made her more of a, more serious character that has a light humor. She was kind of like that in Suicide Squad too.
Yeah.
I love where they're getting Harley. Someone even mentioned in the comments, and I'm glad you guys watched the Harley Quinn TV show because of my recommendation and you enjoyed it. But yeah, I love that show, and I'm glad that finally somehow, like, the show did it first, and now the comics are starting to follow behind, and the comics are finally doing it. Even though, yes, I am also upset that she's not with Poison Ivy, and I don't think that makes any sense that they haven't went that route, and I don't know why they're waiting on it. But yeah, Suicide Squad, we'll see where that one takes us. Next up, what were you going to say?
Before you did, I was just going to say, as far as the Poison Ivy thing, I kind of like that they're just kind of reestablishing Harley on her own as her own person before they reintroduce that, because then it's less of it's Poison Ivy's sidekick, kind of thing, and not just sidekick, but love interest as well. But and she's more her own person, and then when they do come back together, it's going to be more impactful, I think.
I agree with that for sure. And I think the show did a good job at that. So hopefully that's the route the comics are taking. And I hope that's their actual plan in the future, because that would be nice. So going into before Teen Titans, and we're getting the Teen Titans, Red X, and all that, we got Green Lantern. We got a new Green Lantern book. We still have the Grant Morrison book that's going to finish up. I think this is going to be Jon Stewart related, which is going to be interesting because I don't remember a time where Jon Stewart was the only real, I guess you could still count Hal Jordan having the Grant Morrison book, but I feel like that's such a different, it's like an Elseworld book at this point.
Yeah.
So let's just say Jon Stewart's kind of like the only Lantern and he's the solo Lantern. I think that's so cool. Yeah,
I agree. I don't remember a time either when he was the leader of the Corps, but that was, you're still involving the entire Corps with him being like the sole Lantern. I think it's long overdue.
It's gonna be cool.
Green Lanterns, I'm just glad that there's a book.
Yeah.
That's all I'm happy about. Like, I'm done with Grant Morrison's, I didn't read, I read a couple issues of it, too way out there for me. And now at least we get a few other Lanterns back. And hopefully we'll see another book in the future. But I'm definitely picking this up. I'm reading it 100%, and I'm not going to drop it, even if it's bad, whatever. I'm just happy that there's a Green Lantern book back.
And now, the moment you guys have been waiting for, we are going to talk about Teen Titans and Nightwing being Deathstroke. So there's a few things to talk about here. That the book is Teen Titans Academy, so it looks like there are new characters being introduced. We have Red X, who's going to be in that book, and then Deathstroke and Nightwing being the same person. This is my theory. I'm going to probably actually do a video on this on my channel too. I think Damian Wayne's going to be Red X. He's the only one missing in all of this, and he left Teen Titans, and he doesn't really want to be Robin anymore. Why not Red X? I think that would make complete sense. And obviously with the Dick Grayson connection, him having a relationship with Dick Grayson, I think that'd be cool. I have no idea what the Deathstroke stuff. I have no clue where that's coming from. Maybe he killed somebody, maybe, and that's how he's taking on this thing.
I mean, it all ties in. I mean, obviously, it's like with Future State. So, I mean, when you look at like the covers of it, right, you see him reaching for like a mask, and what's it called? So it's just like that is Deathstroke's mask that was on the ground, and then in the next cover over, you see the one where he's like Nightwing Deathstroke with Red X. So it's just like, and I think maybe that's a little bit more into the future. So something happens to Slade, or where I don't know, but I am so excited for this one. Teen Titans. When I heard that they were coming out with a Future State book and then a book going forward, I'm like, this is great, and they're going to have the characters that we like back in this series again, and that's what makes it even better.
And what's cool, it's not just like, if you like the run like we enjoyed, like Crush and all them, they're in it. But then you also have like Donna Troy and everybody. And it's literally everyone could be happy here.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so interesting because there's such rich history with Deathstroke and the Teen Titans. And for that to be a mantle that Nightwing would take up, it like you, Mike, it really makes me curious why he would don that mask of all masks, why he would take on that mantle, and something drastic had to have happened, either to Deathstroke, with Rose, something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I know. I think this is the book that kind of DC really needs, and they need to really capitalize on this one. This one could be their big hit, because how many people out there that are even watching this show right now know about the Teen Titans, whether you go back being old school, reading, the new Teen Titans, from actually watching the TV show in the early 2000s, and, reading the newer comics or whatever the case may be. I feel like there's a Titans for everybody, and to combine those two teams together, I think it's awesome, man. So one way or another, you're a fan of Titans, and you put them together, and with Deathstroke and all this other crazy crap, I think it's going to be great. But something happened to Slade. There's something there, and I think, I think I even heard rumor that like, Dick is basically, could actually be him, or maybe Slade sacrificed himself, for Dick for some reason, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And just to answer Kyle's question, I'm going to look for what book can I please know. So it's called Teen Titans Academy. That's what it's going to end up being called. It's going to be coming out in March, all these books. Tevye thinks Red X could be a new character. I don't think so. I think that'd be so boring. I really think it's someone we know. And that's why I'm leaning towards Damian. And just like the way the reason I even like it clicked in my mind was when I saw the cover, because the way he was like sitting on that desk, I'm like, that's Damian Wayne. Just like his like very, snotty way he was doing it.
Very well could be, yeah.
And there was a thing, like there was that preview art in there where Dick was holding a gun. Like there was a gun on next to him on his side. So like, what's up with that too? Like, I know these Future State books always they're taking place into the future. So obviously, we're going to see what happens in the future. And then with the new books, does it take place? Like, how does the timeline work? Are we going to be leading how it gets to that future? Is that how it's going to be, how they're going to be telling their stories?
I think the Future State books are just a couple of months in the future.
Yeah. Are we 100% sure that that's Dick Grayson?
Yes, that has been confirmed.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because, could be some other theories open up if it wasn't. But okay, yeah. So it's like, what makes Dick both take that mask and pick up a gun? That's just okay. I'm totally intrigued. Yeah.
It really has me curious. Like, I didn't even think that Red X could be Damian.
Ooh.
But now it like kind of makes sense, like them two fighting side by side with each other, maybe for the same cause, right? Damian doesn't believe in, saving the world anymore, and he feels like it's all going to hell, and he's going to do it his own way. And maybe Dick is the same way at this point now.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's teaching a class, so it has to be someone that knows something, like has been in this for a while.
Yeah, he's already established. Black Knight, you flashed it up there a minute, said it could be the Clown Killer Kid, which that's a good guess too. Yeah.
I think I don't think so, just because of the way the money has been driving towards Clown Hunter. Why change his name and make things confusing?
Yeah, Clown Hunter. See, he's doing it too. I call him Clown Killer too, Black Knight. Don't feel bad.
Hunter.
I call him Ghost Maker or Ghost Hunter.
Yeah, they all have similar names.
Yeah.
It's just like, I get confused all the time.
Yeah.
Your mic's a little low again.
Come on.
I was gonna say your mic's a little low again, Mike, but too many mics in one
Your
sentence.
Mike.
Your Mike. That's all we have to really say. Yeah, but that's really all the news for this week, and there was so much cool news. I can't wait until we talk about these books in March. It's finally again oh cool, there's so many cool DC books to talk about, and I love issue ones. I know that, we're flooded with issue ones. I really enjoy a fresh new start, and this is something that DC does best, and I hope they do well here.
Yeah.
So after these, we talked about these books, is this Teen Titans book now your most anticipated out of all of these?
I have a feeling Batgirls is going to be announced, 98% sure Batgirls is going to be announced. So
from this week's books, it seems like that could be very likely. Yeah.
And just I did an article talking about it, and the Batman editor gave a winky face. So I'm just I'm pretty sure this is happening. So besides Batgirls, because that's 100% going to be my number one, I will say Teen Titans.
Is
second.
I'd say Teen Titans is mine now. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, me too. I mean, being a fan of the original or, especially the cartoon or whatnot, and then becoming a recent fan of the new run that just ended, and then getting the news of this and what could potentially happen, this is definitely got me hyped. I have all these books out there. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's also just not, yes, there's Batman characters related, but it's not just here's Batman, here's Superman. There's other characters involved. There's other, major players of the DC universe. And I think that's pretty cool. And it just seems like so many interesting stuff is happening. The Free Comp Book Future State has Orphan and Spoiler Art. Yeah, they also, because they do have a story within the next Batman in issue 2. So again, they're going to get a book, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that by next week, because I think the solicit should be coming out soon for DC, where we'll get all those books. Sweet Exorcist says, you seem surprisingly happy about DC compared to a few months ago. What changed? This right here, this this second, this changed. These announcements have changed.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we've said it before, guys. We don't hate DC Comics. We just, what they have done in the past few years has just not made any sense. And with them canceling all the titles that they had, we're just what are you guys doing? There's nothing there to read. Now they're finally putting something there for you to read, to get excited about. Now, I've heard negativity out there about, bad writers writing these books. This is just this is 5G, which maybe it was, but maybe they tweaked it, whatever the case may be. But at least now we're getting news of new books for you to read that you could possibly like, right? When there's no books to read, there's no chance in you liking anything, and it's disappointing, right? So it's just at least now we get to see, we're excited again about some of our favorite heroes, we just talked about Teen Titans, Green Lanterns, Cat's excited for Batgirl. There's fresh new material to read, not same old Batman stories or stuff that we been canceled and we're kind of left in limbo. So we just want some positivity from it. That's all. And that's what we're looking forward to. We never disliked the company, but there's been nothing but bad news from them. And we're sitting here waiting for good news, and we finally got it.
Exactly.
A lot of good news, which has been a lot of fun. So that's good stuff. And yeah, echoing what Mike said for sure.
All right.
So that is all the news. Thank you guys on that one. Before we get into the comics, me and Brant are going to talk about our Kickstarters, and then also we'll talk about best comics of the year. I guess we'll talk about best comics of the year first. So I'm going to screen share my computer here. I'm going to go to Comic Frontline. Every year we do best comics of the year. We do posts throughout December talking about different categories. This week we talked about best couple, friendship, breakout talent, and moment. So if you guys would like to vote, me, Mike, and Brant all picked our favorites from those categories, and you guys have the chance to vote so our last post for this will be probably beginning of January, end of December, and you'll find out the exact winners of best comics of the week, best comics of the year with every category we have here. So hopefully you guys can go vote and go to comicfrontline.com with that. So we're going to also go into the Kickstarters. My Kickstarter only has 12 hours, guys. Only 12 hours left. We are so close to $10,000, which is amazing. And I'm crossing my fingers I can make it in these 12 hours. And yeah, every backing counts. It's about a high school girl. Father left her, become a full-time superhero. Everyone in the world loves him except for her. And then she inherits his abilities. Here are some of the covers here. And if you back up me and Brant's Kickstarters, let me get to sorry, I'm going so quick. Get to the crossover print, where if you back up our Kickstarters and also our friend Will at any backing, you'll get a signed print of this beautiful print here. So hopefully you guys could go check it out, and it mean a lot. And again, there's only 12 hours left to back this up, get the new issue. And we are so close to 10K, which would be
crazy.
Amazing. Right?
Awesome. Yeah. It's so cool. I'm so happy for you, Kat, that it's that close. Yeah. Okay. I should share mine.
Yeah,
right.
Share your Kickstarter.
Yeah, let me, here we go. Well, you already had it open, so there it is. So mine is The Last Ember Hunted, issue 1. Has 6 days. It says 6 days. It's actually 7. It ends next Tuesday night. 7 days left in that one. We just hit our funding goal yesterday. We are climbing now, so I'll be announcing stretch goals probably tomorrow. But it is about a teenage girl who gains the ability to create and control fire, and she later learns that she is a fire goddess, not only a fire goddess, but the last fire goddess, last of her kind. And now in this arc, there's that crossover print again. In this arc, there is a serial killer hunting her. I'm going to stop scrolling because I think I'm freezing. But hunting down people like her, and he is headed her way. She's also dealing with family drama, bullies, and all kinds of stuff. Her brothers discovered her abilities, so her whole world around her is falling apart. So check that out at embercomic.com/hunted. Ends next Tuesday.
Yes. I think Mike's having some issues on his side, he said, and now he is sideways, so I'm guessing he's definitely having some issues on his side.
Okay, I thought it was me, so I was like freaking out. Oh, can they hear me?
No, you're good. So
okay, cool.
So I was hearing you fine. I didn't know Mike was having an issue though. So hopefully, he's gonna restart. So
yeah, I just heard the and I was like, oh crap, I must be freezing or something.
I do still hear it on your side though. I do hear a little bit of a crack, but it's not freezing. It's just like audio.
Okay, I wonder. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a fan on my desk because it's really hot in here, so that's okay.
So you have to now stay hot because
yeah, that's fine. I'll deal.
That's it. You'll have to deal with it. Thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
If you guys want to ask some Kickstarter questions, you have the chance now because Mike has to reboot. So hopefully he comes back. And again, I'm sure he will. But yeah, thank you. Again, every backing will count for these. And we'd really appreciate it. And we hope you guys go check out the comics and you enjoy the conversations we have every week. I think you'll enjoy the comics we make.
Absolutely. We could talk about this because I don't think Mike had one. So
yeah, sure. So let's do under the radar. So you want to do yours first, Brent?
Sure. Mine's Stranger Things Dungeons and Dragons issue 2. It's a crossover between the two, which makes perfect sense if you watch Stranger Things. That's the game they play and they love, and it's been a fun story so far. This issue actually takes place after the events of season 1 of Stranger Things, so they're kind of getting back into their normal lives, and Mikey's worried that nobody's going to enjoy playing D&D anymore because they just fought real monsters, and you get to go through this emotional journey with him, how he rediscovers that his friends are just as excited to hang with him and play the old games again. So it was a fun issue, especially if you're a Stranger Things fan. So I enjoyed it.
And my under the radar, Mike, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
So my under the radar was Fantastic Four Road Trip issue 1. Pleasantly surprised with this one. It was just a road trip, but it was very Immortal Hulk, where so they go to this, middle America, and Reed wants to do a science experiment, and then they all like start going backwards with their powers. So Invisible Woman's skin was peeling off. Reed was stretching into like a puddle, and then Valeria was degressing in her intelligence. Yeah, so she pooped her pants. It was like a crazy issue, and I enjoyed it. It was just like a fun one-off, but that's what I like for a one-shot, beginning, middle, and end. It didn't go anywhere else, and again, it was just like very gruesome, like body horror. So if you like Immortal Hulk, I think you'll enjoy it.
Cool.
We also have a question from Real Manos for Kickstarter question. What's your advice on creating stretch goals? I say give something that you would be actually interested in, and also understand your budget. Make sure it makes sense and you're not spending too much money on it.
Yeah. I think the best stretch goals are ones that don't add a whole lot of extra cost to your plans already, that you factored it in. I think like upgrades to the actual product are a strong one. That's something that you're giving fans an extra thing, but it's already factored into your cost at the beginning. So it's, like if you're adding spot UV or adding like an upgraded cover stock or something like that, I think those are cool.
Yeah. Mike, did you have a under the radar book this week?
Yeah, I actually put it in right before we started because I forgot to put it in early.
Okay.
Yeah. So mine, and just so the guys let you know that I don't know if the others said it or remember, there's spoilers when we talk about these comic books. So
we did not say that.
Heads up. Spoiler alert. There it is for sure. But my under the radar was actually Erratic issue 1 from AWA, Upshot Studios. I thought it was a cool book. It kind of had this sideways, like...
Oh, yeah, very sideways.
Like, and Spider-Man feel to it, Great book. Like I said, when I was trying to tell you guys to read it, kids like, 15 years old, and he's a reborn from this universe. This has to do with the Resistance, that original book that was coming out from AWA, and he is one of the reborns that wind up surviving and wind up developing powers. And so we wind up finding out that he has these crazy powers that only last for like 10 minutes at a time, once a day, every single day, which is kind of cool. The artwork was unique in this book. I really enjoyed it. And you get to see him move into a new town, and his mom supposedly gets a new job. It's kind of like all a scam, and they don't have any money. And so, again, that's what gives you like the Spider-Man vibe of like Aunt May, Yeah. And he tries to impress a girl, and just there's a lot of good things about this series. The series has pretty good potential. I really, really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed this too, and for all those reasons, and also there's like these parts of it are tongue in cheek, like the professor getting his abilities, and just like they were over the top with their philosophies on teaching, and that kind of thing. So it was very tongue in cheek that way, but at the same time, you had like some subtle little backstories, like him finding the empty alcohol bottle in his mom's purse and stuff like that. It's like, wow, there's layers to this, which is kind of cool. And it was just so much fun. I really enjoyed this book.
Yeah. And
I was pleasantly surprised by it. You go.
Yeah.
Mike, yeah.
And the guy that was supposed to become like assistant principal, like was he Russian or whatever it is?
Yeah.
It's so funny because it's the cliche villain twirling his mustache, and he's literally doing that.
Yeah.
He's literally doing that at the part. He's like, oh, because he made the principal jump out the window. I thought that was hilarious.
I thought the best part of this book was the artwork. That's what really got me. I was like,
yeah.
It's good. The one thing I wanted to like the girl a lot, and I enjoyed her in the beginning, but then I didn't quite understand her motives in the end, because like she was like pretty chill for most of the book, and then she's like, I'm gonna record you. And I'm like, where did that?
Yeah,
because she realized what he was, and it's like, oh, I can get hits on this.
It was just such a weird transition because they were playing her up as this like potential Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane for him.
Yeah.
They don't go that direction because I think that'd be obvious. But I don't know. I thought the ending kind of came out of nowhere, but I still really enjoyed the issue, and that everyone didn't feel cookie cutter, which is good.
Yeah, I kind of liked it because it's like, oh, this kid's gonna get out in like the first day he gets here, so that's kind of is a nice twist.
I think maybe it made you think that it was going to be that puppy dog love, type of thing. Like she felt sorry for him, and then she's kind of like, I'm the popular girl, and I'm just going to get more popular because this is going to be. They all said it. This is going to be my year.
Yeah, so that was a theme throughout it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The principal or the bad guy said it.
And I'm guessing she's the one falling out the window or whatever in the beginning, unless that's going to be a red herring. We'll have to see, but I'm guessing that was her.
Yeah, that's what I guessed too.
Yeah.
But cool book.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
5 issues.
What is it?
It's only 5 issues.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it might be, though. I mean, if it does well, it might come out with a volume 2. It's very easily to make a book like that longer.
Mm-hmm.
I think they all the AWA books are all start off as miniseries, and then they'll see what happens going forward with them.
Yeah.
All right. So we got that in. So let's talk about. I don't want to talk about King in Black yet. Let's talk about the shitty book, Batman Catwoman issue 1.
Oh, I want to talk about this so bad. Let me just say, this is an interesting book because there is a story there that might be okay, right? Like I think Mask of the Phantasm, like the Phantasm character, could be cool.
Yes.
Like I think like her whole story with her son, I'm like, that's awesome. But there's like 3 stories being told at once. There's 3 comics being told in one comic. So it's just like this present story with them just like jumping the rooftops because that's what they do. Then you have the story where she loses her kid. And then you have this old grandma Catwoman. And I'm just like so confused throughout the whole issue. It's not good, but I also want to see what happens in the next issue. I don't know why. But
it's like a train wreck. You just want to make sure everything's okay. You want to see what happens.
So you're talking about books that I'm thinking about cutting. Yeah, that's it. That's one of them.
You want to see the fire? I need to see the fire a little bit.
The way the storytelling was in that book, it was so confusing to follow the stories. The transitions between stories was absolutely just. I was just like, I even text Kat. I'm like, what did I just read? Like, I don't even know what the hell is going on. Like, I was actually excited to really read this book to see what it was. I was looking forward. The artwork is really gorgeous in that book. Clayman's artwork is always really good. Draws a beautiful Catwoman. Batman looks great in the book. And then I'm just like, wow, this is kind of ruined by this type of storytelling, and I don't like it at all.
Yeah, I agree. It was confusing. It was all over the place. There's some, like you said, Kat, there's some interesting things going on there. Old man Joker and old woman Catwoman, it's like, that's kind of neat. I want to see where that goes.
I'm like, I don't even know.
But why did he bite her like a zombie?
I know. That's why I'm like, there's so many things you could be like, but at the same time, it's like, what is going on? What is this? What am I reading?
It wasn't good storytelling. Again, I don't want to bash anything. Just in my point of writing, it just, for me, it wasn't good storytelling, and it tried to be too mysterious, I feel, and didn't really know what it was telling. But yeah, there's like little tidbits that are so interesting because like we know from this comic, Catwoman was pregnant. And I like want to see that journey. I want to see them as parents. Helena seems like a cool cat from what we saw, from like the little tidbits we've got from this issue. And I'm like, oh, I would like to see this family grow and what that's all about. But all we really saw is like Alfred peeking at them having sex throughout the whole issue.
and Bruce died, apparently.
Yeah, and Bruce died.
Thanks.
So now you're gonna have this non-linear storytelling, and you're going to feel like you're going to be lost all the way through, and you got to deal with this for 10 issues.
And we also know the Joker outlived Batman. What kind of good story is that?
And he's a zombie now. So
what is? I don't know. It was
that
weird.
Comment right there by Sean B was honestly the first person I heard that actually was happy with that issue. So good. I'm glad you liked it, and hopefully you'll like it going forward. But for me, I just, oh man, I am sorry. I just did not like the way the story was told. I just didn't. I did not expect to get 3 separate stories. And I feel like now we're going to have to read that all the way through. Like, that's just not for me. So I'm not going to be continuing it.
I will get the next issue and make my decision there, but it's, I don't know.
I think that's where I'm at. It's going to be fun because we're going to talk about King in Black soon. And Mike's gonna yell at me. I'm gonna tease this a little because Mike's gonna be like, "How are you gonna be reading the second issue of Batman and Catwoman, but you're not gonna read King in Black issue?"
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Well, that is the next book we're talking about, right?
Go ahead. We're talking about King in Black. You'll definitely be in the minority on this one, so go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not hate it by any means. I actually thought it was a good. I thought it was a good story. Like I enjoyed Venom, like him being the personal, like the personal story, like him being like the emotional thread. But because I don't read Venom, I didn't quite feel a connection to it. And then the rest of it kind of felt like an event I've seen before, which is like, okay, big guy comes, he's going to destroy the world. How are they going to save everything? I was a little annoyed at the X-Men here because they don't care about humanity, and I don't quite even understand why they were fighting for it. I guess because of Krakoa, but I really didn't think they would want to team up with the humans at all, and I wish that was explained a little bit more. So I did not hate the book, but at the same time, it goes back to there's so many books out there. I think I'm more interested in seeing the train wreck of Batman and Catwoman, just because I'm more invested in the Bat family than I am in Venom.
But that's why because you're connected to them. Whereas King in Black, I'm invested into the Bat family, but I read plenty of Batman, and I've read plenty of Catwoman, and I've read plenty of Tom King, who has burned me multiple times as of late, and that's why I'm not continuing anymore, because it's just I read that in Tom King's Batman. I don't need to read it again in Batman and Catwoman. But when it came to King in Black, this had a cinematic experience for me when I was reading that book. That's how I took it when I was reading it. There was this build up through the series all the way from issue number 1 until this point. As a fan of reading this book, you finally get the arrival of this character that's been in years in the making, and it was phenomenally done. I love how Eddie Brock actually teamed up with the Avengers to come up with this plan. You know, they knew that Noah was coming and everything backfired. I love how overconfident the Avengers were in the book, and then it just blew up in Tony's face. You wind up getting Sentry making his appearance. They were overconfident, like, yeah, Sentry can overtake anybody. That guy is the shit. He'll kill Null, no problem. And at first you think that's what happens, right? Because he flies through the freaking Celestial's head, takes it down, brings him to the sky, and then what does Null do? Rips him up like he's a piece of paper. It was like freaking nothing. It shows you how powerful this character is. Yes, we have seen this before, you know, same with like Thanos or anything, but I felt like it hasn't been done in a while to where I don't know that it made an impact. I feel like a lot of people haven't been anticipating this, and it's delivered. And that's why you have all these tie-ins, because it's affecting the entire Marvel universe, because it's not going to just affect just Venom, right? It's going to affect everybody because Null is taking over everything. And I liked it. I think the first issue did exactly what it needed to do. Where it goes from here, obviously, it's still yet to be determined. It could fall apart. It could become a train wreck, right? But that first issue,
from what I'm seeing, I don't think it will be. Like, I definitely don't think it'll be a train wreck. Because I want to answer Muhammad for a quick I guess, question/comment. Catwoman and Batman's more intriguing than King in Black. Okay, no, did not say that, because it's not. And if you actually, I did a best, every week I do best comics of the week. Batman Catwoman is actually lower than King in Black. But like I was saying before, I think for me, I am not invested in Venom. And I do think this issue, you had to be invested in Venom to get the emotional thread. I mean, Brant will tell us on that one, because Brant doesn't read Venom. But I've also read an Absolute Carnage, and I read all the way through it. And I was like, oh, it's not a bad event, because I think this was actually a well-written event. And that's the difference between these two. But I want to see, like, okay, where is Catwoman's daughter going to go? Like, how did Batman die? Like, there's more questions in Batman and Catwoman, even though it was the worst book. It was very much the worst book. But I think it also has to do with, like, what connections you have to different books. But trust me, I understand. King in Black was a better book. It was.
You got the questions like, what's going to happen to Dylan? How is his connection to Null? What's going to happen to the symbiote of Eddie Brock, his other, like,
but that was all connected to the Venom series. I don't think there was a lot of questions for other characters, though.
Well, that makes sense, but that's what I'm saying. But there's questions in each, in its own way, for each book. So I mean, I get it. I totally get it. I just think that King in Black is going to deliver. I'm just not sure, like, right now, after reading issue 1 and everything that has happened, I don't know how they're going to defeat them. And there's a couple of questions or comments here that says, let's see, was it Jamie says, you all need to look at Venom issue 6, the scene that has, I think he meant Thor issue 6, the scene that has Thanos holding Mjolnir. You can see the dead army and Sentry in the background. Donnie is bringing Thor and Venom and King in Black all together. And of course, Mjolnir has all the stones in it too. So you read Thor, Brant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you read Thor, so you know what's going on in there. But yeah, I like the issue. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'll take Snatch Face's comment. I have no personal taste. I agree in this instance. Because King in Black is the better book. King in Black is the better book. So I agree with you on that one. It is. I'm very interested in the tie-ins. I'm very interested in the Jane Foster tie-in. I'm very excited for Mary Jane to be at Carnage. And those are the character stories I think I'm going to be very invested in.
What did you think about this, Brent? Because you haven't said much about King in Black yet.
Yeah, I was just letting you guys finish and hash it out between you. But no.
Duke it out.
I really enjoyed it, actually, and I have not been reading Venom, but I think I've read enough of Venom and Carnage and stuff to get the gist of what's going on here. I was just, this surprised me because I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. I thought I was going to feel more like Cat, but as I was reading it, I got excited, and it just like really drew me into the story. And what I loved about it was one of the things that you said, Mike, about like how it's affecting the entire Marvel universe, the way that everybody got involved because they realized how big of a threat this is. And I don't feel like we've had that kind of threat since War of the Realms. And it feels that epic to me, this one. And the fact, like you said, that they were all cocky and thought they had it settled at every turn. And then he was just like, everything they threw at him was just nothing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just like one thing after another. And it's like, okay, what in the world are they going to do to take this guy down now? And, that hooked me, I guess. So now I want to see what happens. So I thought it was fantastic, and I am going to continue with the main story. But the couple of tie-ins that came out this week, I didn't like them at all. and it was very, very light on the tie-in there.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And on my channel, I'm going to be covering the event and all the tie-ins each week. That's why I posted it on our group page, in case you guys don't read it and you still want to, see what's going on. But from what I heard, that the Union was a book that was supposed to be an Empire tie-in, and it got delayed because of COVID, and so they kind of reworked it to make it like an Empire tie-in. So, I mean, I'm sorry, a King in Black tie-in. So, and then when it came to Atlantis Attacks, like, that book should have never existed as a tie-in. Like, the last page was a tie-in, and it was like like an ending to a current story to lead into Namor. And I'm just like, that should have never even existed. Just finish telling your story, right? And then just kick it off with Namor. Why even do that? Why put the King in Black banner on there? That was a mistake, I felt, by Marvel by calling that a tie-in.
Well, that was really a money grab. I don't say that often, but that issue specifically was a money grab. It's like, this is King in Black. No, it's not.
Yeah, not at all.
And the Union, the Union wasn't until like the last few pages.
Right, but at least there, it was kind of like, all right, you got they wanted to introduce you to these characters, and I understand why they had to rework it. They wanted to get you introduced to these characters, and then it makes sense. Like the symbiote dragon comes, and then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. It's kind of like, you're getting into the story of what's going. It's more of a setup than anything, but at least that kind of tied into it, where the other one had nothing.
Right. Yeah, but I think as far as the tie-ins, I'm going to approach them like you, Kat, where it's going to be characters that I'm invested in. I'll read those, and I'll just skip the rest.
Yeah, I think it seems like most of them aren't going to be too connected to the main event, besides like Venom and Thor, possibly. I don't even know how much Thor is tying into King in Black, but I think maybe Thor, from what we're hearing, which I actually might pick up the next issue of Thor. I know we're going to discuss that later, but because of the clip,
you saw my panel, right?
Yeah. I'm like, I gotta pick that up. So there's certain characters, and there'll be another comic we'll talk about that I have not been reading, but I'm like, oh, she shows up. I'm gonna pick this up. We'll end up talking about that. Gonzo says, is that rum and coke? I wish, Gonzo. I wish we were drunk talking about King in Black right now, but we're not.
All I go is drunk reading Batman Catwoman.
Yes, for sure. We were all on some sort of trip reading Batman Catwoman.
All right, so that was it when it comes to King in Black and Catwoman. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that conversation. We had a lot of fun talking about that.
Yeah,
and I love when.
what are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I love when big books come out. Like, there's the number one, and everyone says, "Oh yeah, we've had so many number ones. I'm done. I'm tired of number one." But number ones is really what gets the conversation started, right? Whether you like a book, you're going to continue it, give it another try, see what think about it, and that's what was here. These were two big books being released, and this was some great conversation.
That, and also I think it's fun because like we do read a lot of similar books, and I think we all have somewhat similar taste in books. It's cool when we're sometimes on a different side of books as well. I don't feel like it happens too often, so it's interesting to see when that ends up happening, even though I don't think we're on so different sides with King in Black.
No, and I understand Kat's point of view, and we never really argue for real anyway. So we all understand each other's opinion. We've known each other so long, it's crazy. So we're not going to be like, oh, I hate you for liking this book. You suck. It's never
how can you like Batman Catwoman? What? How can you even like an book?
We respect each other's opinions.
Of course.
All right. So let's dive into number 5. So my personal number 5 is like, I liked a lot of my comic books this week, but my number 5 was like a real clear-cut number 5. All 5 books were awesome. And my number 5 was actually, what do we have? Firepower issue 6. I love that book. Like every time it comes out, it's always a lot of fun. There's just a lot of action, and We get to see. I always forget the sensei's name, like One Lin or something.
I never
Yeah.
I can never remember that dude's name. But we get to see kind of like his motive on why he switched sides, which I thought was really interesting. And we get to see this battle. And man, at the end of that book, you're kind of led to believe that the sensei dies. But when you look closely at that last page, his eyes move up. So he's obviously doing something to keep himself living. Which I thought was really cool. But always the character interactions are really good in this book. I love the family, and it's so well written. Really great book.
Yeah, you guys are going to be proud of me. I caught up. I read all the issues.
Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I read this one, and it is in my top 5, but it's not my number 5. But for all those reasons, it's like the lead up to this, and having read it all together, it's even better because I got that full story, which just getting to this point and finding out why he made this switch, and confronting his possible death, and getting Owen finally getting pulled back into that world fully because all this is just like, okay, this is cool, this is picked up now, this really. I want to see where this goes, and I want to see how it affects his marriage going forward too, because there's been some issues there.
Yeah, but I think there's been some good communication overall too.
Yeah, totally.
She's like, oh, I'm jealous of this dead girl, and they have a conversation about it, which is nice. Yeah. And all of us, we all picked them as one of our favorite couples of the year, and I think they definitely rightfully deserve it. And this issue, the action is so great for this book, and it is so unique, and I love that, and I love how the family has been sucked in so quickly. I think another book would have taken a much longer time to do this, and there's good cliffhangers. It's a great book. I love it. I really think this is quickly becoming one of my favorite Robert Kirkman books. It's hard because I love Invincible so much, but I don't know if it's that level yet, but it's getting there. I think it's really good. It's
definitely the best one since Walking Dead and Invincible.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah,
absolutely. Sure. I love the scene where the sensei comes in again and they start fighting, and he goes back to that trade where it was like, "Oh, I see you learned this from him, and you learned that from me," nice, and then his wife goes, "And he learned that from me."
I love that. That was so good.
It's so good, man. So great book. All right, Brent, what was your number 5?
My number 5 is Thor, so we can talk about it. Issue 10, and I read this issue and last issue back to back because I realized I hadn't read last issue.
Oh no! Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so that's why I was a little lost last week with the most anticipated. I was trying to figure out what happened, and I was like, "Oh, no wonder I didn't read it." But so I read this, so I may get confused about things that happen in each issue. But this whole thing with Donald Blake and this super powered broken version of Donald Blake is that's so creative. To take that turn with that character that we haven't seen in so long. And now he's as strong as Thor, if not stronger, because he's got the power. We find out in this issue, I think, he's got the power of a dragon combined with the power of Thor. And he takes out all the Asgardians and just like, no more Thors. And now I'm going after Jane. And it's like, whoa.
Really and he goes and he shaves and he cleans up and he's like, Dr. Jane Foster, nice to see you. Gives you the evil hug at the end. And you're like, oh, shit. And, his fighting skills are crazy, dude. He's going after Lady Sif and he's like, a doctor has precise cuts. And he's, going real fast with the scalpel on her hand. And it's just oh, my God, it's crazy. But just the whole story with the Donald Blake situation is really well done. I would never even think they would bring that character back and stick him in a realm, right, like that. And Thor's been Thor this entire time, so Donald Blake's in this forgotten world this entire time, and he goes freaking crazy,
because he wakes up. Yeah, we find out why he woke up this issue, but he wakes up and it's like, why did you abandon me? Where's Thor? And all, it's just crazy.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah, it's great issue. Love this story. wonderful cliffhanger. I actually didn't see that cliffhanger coming, to tell you the truth. I'm like, why is he shaving?
Yeah.
You know? And so I'm so excited. And now Thor is stuck. He's stuck in that same place, you know?
Mm-hmm.
How is he going to get out of there?
Yeah.
The stick is broken.
Yeah. He broke the stick. Yeah. So he can't transform back into Thor.
Look, all that matters is that Jane Foster was in the issue. So that is all
might be
that
dead
matters.
next issue.
She'll be fine.
I know she'll be fine. Of course she will.
So
I'm curious to see what that fight's gonna look like, because Donald Blake only really knows the human Jane Foster.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if he knows she's a Valkyrie. So I think that's gonna be really, really cool.
He has Thor's memories apparently, even recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he must know that. But he's like super powerful, so he probably thinks he can take her. But we'll see.
All right. So that was your number 5. So Kat, what was your number 5?
Mine was Batman issue 104. There's some interesting development here. I don't know if it was the best Batman issue, but I still enjoyed it. I like the ending with, is Clown Hunter going to kill Harley Quinn? I like the little tidbit of Batgirl Prime. Where's that going? Where the hell is this whole Batgirl story in general going? I do think they're leaning more towards Barbara becoming completely Oracle. We'll see where that ends up going. But yeah, I enjoyed it. The art change is not my favorite thing, and I actually think Ghostmaker is the worst part of this story, but I liked everything surrounding it. Yeah,
I would completely agree with that. There was a lot of little things to love, but overall, it's that story that kind of brings it down, the Ghostmaker thing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this fell out of my top 5. This was like number 8 this week. I mean, I still enjoyed it. I just didn't like Kat said, like the artwork changed. There's like 3 different artists in this book or something.
And they're all very different.
Yeah, and I don't even know why. And the whole Ghostmaker situation, I was like, okay, like basically what we're gonna get is you're gonna wind up getting Ghostmaker, and Batman and Ghostmaker are gonna fight, and then they're fighting for Gotham. Batman's going to win, and when are you gonna see Ghostmaker again?
Yeah.
Who knows? You know, that's where I'm, led to believe here, because the next one is the conclusion to this. So I don't know, but I did like the Harley situation. I did like the Batgirls thing. That little comment with the Batgirl Prime, thing was funny. So yeah, I had its moments, but it wasn't my favorite issue, especially out of all the higher up issues that I read today. All right, so let's go forward, guys. Well, let's talk about.
Speaking of a book we'll all agree on. Endless
the
Winter.
Next book is Justice League Endless Winter issue 1.
Now, this is a book, this is interesting, because I think King in Black, again, you could totally separate the two. In some ways, I think they're both trying to do the same thing. Like this epic world is ending, whatever.
Yeah.
The difference is Endless Winter's emotional tether is Flash axing constantly, how do you have a family and also be a superhero? Just every panel, this is the one question he keeps axing. And I'm just like, I'm good, I'm done.
The dialogue
no
was so basic, and just like the way the characters interacted with each other were just like one-liners, and it was
it's like every answer, not to cut you off, Mike, but every answer to that question was, you need to ask somebody else because I don't know. Even Superman, I'm not doing it well. You need to ask somebody else. What?
Like even the intro to the book, like with the villains that they were fighting, it was just it was so, everything about it was very cliche, very generic. Like honestly, like okay, Superman, his Fortress of Solitude was destroyed, and then his crystals were left behind. Come on. Don't you think like Superman would be a little bit more, I guess, responsible about his Kryptonian crystals, on leaving them behind, on making sure that, they don't just disappear and end up in the wrong hands, or something bad's going to happen?
Yeah,
but regardless,
It's not like he has X-ray vision or anything, Mike, where he could see where they fell.
Yeah, right. And out of all things to come out of the ground, it's a frost monster or frost giant, right? I mean, it's just like it was so bad, and it was just like then it's like Stag's like equipment like goes into there, and they got to save it, and he just flies away. He's like, "Oh, I'll see you guys later." It was just the way it was set up. It was so it was bad. And then all of a sudden, the whole world is in snow because of this creature, and the art wasn't even that good in it.
Well, it's Howard Porter, which was the artist on The Flash for the long period.
I'm not a huge fan.
Huge fans of, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's just for all the hype that this event got, and all these like dramatic, page ads that we saw, and it was like that got me curious and it got me a little like, okay, I don't know anything about this, but you got me hooked by these visuals, right? And this thought of this cold winter taking over the universe, but then this is what you give us, and it was quite disappointing.
Maybe that's why they never gave us a real good description on what this book was about, because they quit it.
It's like evil Iceman takes over the DC universe.
You're like, oh, really? This is what you can come up with for the winter time? I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to be reading this either going forward. Kat was like, yeah, but they got the Teen Titans one coming back. And I just like, maybe I will read that one just to see how the Teen Titans interact.
Yeah, just to read the one book, and that's it. I'm not reading any of the other ones. But the Teen Titans at least it looks like the Teen Titans will be involved. It'll be like the continuation of their story. So I'm like, I'll read that one.
Yeah. I'm curious in the comments, did anybody read Endless Winter, and did you like it?
Yes. Good question.
Yeah. Because we obviously did not.
No, and I think we're all obviously not getting the next issue. But are we all getting Teen Titans?
Yeah, I'll get Teen Titans.
Okay. I'll try the Teen Titans one just to see what they're up to. But this was a disappointment. I expected something better. This just feels like a story they whipped out one night on a weekend, and they're like, guys, we need something for December. We got to get to Future State. They have a bottle and they're drinking, and they're just like, they saw a picture of like Frosty the Snowman on the wall, frost giant.
It's like, oh, it's winter.
It's winter
time. Giant, that's cool. Let's do that.
And winter never ends. I got it.
We're being totally disrespectful to all the DC writers. Apologies. It just, it does feel fun. Yeah, but it does feel like a filler transition thing to get to Future State. That's exactly what it is.
Well, I did an interview for this one, and they said it. We really couldn't touch Future State. There's not that much. It is like a point A to point B story. It's a very self-contained story. I think the only thing they really said that was going to continue is like the Black Adam story.
Yeah, it's just I was expecting more from this, so it was just disappointing.
I agree. I agree with you guys. I was expecting something a lot more, and I was
expecting more winter coats.
Batman had a winter coat.
Well,
he's only one.
Yeah.
Where's all the other winter coats?
I think Flash made a comment too. He was like, "Why do you get the winter coat?" I think that's what he even said that in the book too.
Yeah, the Batman suit. Like, oh, I want a cool winter suit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, Teen Titans. I'm picking it up. Where this story goes from there, I don't really care. So I'll just go to Future State right after that. If you guys are still reading it, it would be great in future shows to give us updates on what it's about. That'd be awesome.
We hope that Flash finds that family balance for sure. Yeah. That's what he needs.
Maybe it turns around and it becomes really good. So see, keep a positive spin on it. All right. So let's move on. We talked about Endless Winter. We talked about Erratic. So let's move on to our number 4. Kat, what's your number 4 book this week?
Mine was Erratic. We already talked about it.
Yeah, nice. All right. What about you, Brent?
Mine was Firepower. We already talked about
it. Already. We're only at number 4, and we already talked about all the books.
There were a lot of big books, but there weren't a lot of books.
Yeah.
My number 4 was Daredevil, issue 25.
That fell just out of my top 5. I actually did read it, though. Yeah.
Do you read that on a consistent basis?
What?
Do you read Daredevil every month?
No, so I jumped in cold with it.
Oh,
But this was
so that makes
new
it
reader
really
friendly. I thought it was like the only thing you needed to know that it was Daredevil was in jail. And I was
they did recap it nicely. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's good, and I think actually I think you definitely get it right away. I think you have a little bit more appreciation for it, if you read it from the beginning. But
sure,
it was very well written, and I love this book. I love the interactions between Elektra and Matt in this issue, and her objective here I think is quite interesting. And the ending, honestly, I did not see that coming, and I'm like, wow, that is kind of cool, right?
That was a nice cliffhanger.
Yeah, all these years, you would think that Elektra would be Daredevil, but they've never played with that before. Yeah. I find that so interesting, and to her to prove herself to Matt is really cool. But there's an objective there, right? And I can't wait to see what happens there.
Yeah. That ulterior motive, man. Yeah, go ahead, Kat.
I know. I was just gonna say I was so pleasantly surprised by this one because I haven't been reading Daredevil, but then I read an article on Newsarama and I saw the spoiler, and I was like, oh my god, this seems so cool. So I read it, and I pleasantly surprised how new reader friendly it was. And I love the thematics. I really liked Elektra's point of view because she really takes a very different point of view of like why she wants to be Daredevil, and how Matt kind of sees the world, and just like their ethical standpoints have always been interesting. And now it's on a really flipping the script. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. I wasn't sure what to think going in, obviously, because I hadn't been reading it, and I'm kind of hot and cold on Zdarsky, so I was a little hesitant. But when I got in there, they, like I said, they recapped it nicely. They caught you up. You understood. I don't really know why he's in jail, except that he felt guilty for doing something and he was put there.
Do you want me to tell you, or
sure? Yeah.
So suppose he killed somebody, and it wasn't on purpose. It was in battle. He actually slammed the guy's head against the wall, and it wound up killing him. And so he's always vowed never to kill people, right? And now he was put on trial to actually to defend himself and whatnot. And at first he wanted to, but then at the end, most recent issue, he wound up turning himself in. That's once he knew that Hell's Kitchen was kind of taken care of. And you found out that in the last issue that Elektra wound up buying Hell's Kitchen and making sure that she took care of it. So it is the whole story leading up to this point is actually really good. I definitely recommend it. People recommended it to me a long time ago, right before COVID started. And I wound up getting all the trades, and I read it during the shutdown when the comic shops didn't have anything. And I tell you what, man, it is a phenomenal read. Like we talked about it earlier, how Chip Zdarsky wrote Spider-Man, and I wasn't a fan of that story. Yeah. This story is really good because he explores Matt really well. Obviously, now he's doing Elektra, and he did the Kingpin really well as also. And just everything leading up to this point has been so well done. And I think Chiquetto does the artwork in this book and throughout the series as well. And his visuals are outstanding.
Oh yeah.
This is a must read. I'm definitely would suggest this to you.
Sure.
If you got time to read it, to go and read the other 24 issues.
Yeah. And to address Sean B, we all enjoy Stillwater here on this show.
Yeah, Stillwater is great.
Yeah. So yeah, I love the fact that Elektra is taking up that mantle, and I love that she has an ulterior motive. That's just perfect.
I'm definitely continuing too. Like I'm excited to read more, and that's kind of hard when you jump randomly into a book and then you're like, damn, I want the next issue. Yeah. Like kudos.
Yeah. Plus this whole the fist and the hand thing has got me totally intrigued as well. So I want to learn more about that. So yeah, it's kind of pulled me in with this issue.
Kind of feels like the TV show in some ways.
Yeah. I will say when the whole gel thing, and Kat, you'll get this reference. I think it was season 8 of Arrow. Kind of reminded me of the same kind of situation, kind of motives and everything, but
yeah,
still
I
took
agree.
it in a different place. Yeah.
All right, cool. So that's our Daredevil talk, and that was our number 4s, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, cool. So the next 2 books we already talked about: Batman issue 104 and Firepower issue 5. So we'll dive right back into our number 3s. And my number 3 was, man, my top 3 were really hard, but Black Widow was my number 3.
Mine was Black Widow as
Mine
well.
too. Believe it or not. Wow.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
We all really
man.
like Black Widow.
Yeah.
This is my favorite I know I've said this before, like I don't read that much Black Widow because there's never been a story that has intrigued me enough to read it. But this story has been so good, and now we wind up getting the revelation that Natasha gets all her memories back, and we get to find out that this family was this child is actually really hers.
Yeah.
Like, that is insane, right? And just the emotional beats that were in this book when it came to her saying, you have to leave me, otherwise they're going to get you, they're going to kill you, whatever the case may be. And then at the end, you wind up seeing that explosion, and it looks like her family is dead.
Yeah.
That was, it's so interesting because she's about to play martyr, right? She's about to do the thing that every superhero ever does. Like, man, go read Like Father, Like Daughter. But she leaves, she's going to leave her family and say bye because I need to keep you safe. And then she's like, okay, good. I did the right thing. Blows up. You're like, oh my God, what a cliffhanger. I did not expect that to happen. And yeah, this was just paced so well. And it's great because, Kelly Thompson wrote that Captain Marvel Evil story as well. And I thought the pacing was all over the place for that one. And this one was just perfect pacing. And this, I think, is the end of the first arc. So we could say it was a really great first arc. And I just can't wait to see where Black Widow goes. I've been so pleasantly surprised with this book, but shouldn't be because it's Kelly Thompson.
Yeah, and I think hands down this was the best issue of the entire arc. And I just, like you guys said, the emotional beats, the pacing of it, and the way that she gained all her memories and then instantly realized that this still is her family. She still cares about them and they're everything. And then going through the whole thing where she apparently loses them, it's like, oh my God. And then the panel layouts, the art, the fight scenes in this book, just
the fight scenes.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It's just a great creative team. I'm actually curious to see what's going to happen to this fiance, because I have a feeling the baby's going to die, and maybe the fiance will be, because we don't know who this fiance is. He's obviously was taken from somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have memories either, so I feel like they're not ending that story right away. Or maybe the baby will be alive too. I don't know, but I think that story is going to continue somehow.
Yeah, I think it should at the very least. I mean, because like you said, we don't know who he is. We didn't get that revelation, so that could be a major plot point later on.
and it's funny, and I mentioned this in the panels too. Like, it's this very serious issue, and then you got Bucky and Clint in there, and they always put in that comic relief, that like little light humor in such a very serious book. Hey, I like to meet some old friends. Hey, I'm not that old, And it's just like the same thing when they were hiding in the bushes a couple issues ago. There's good moments in there too, but this book all the way around is just been phenomenal. So definitely, and I don't know if I hear that many people talking about it. So in very many ways, I feel like this is an under the radar book too.
So it wasn't a natural conception. They extracted and created the baby from both.
Yeah, it was like more of like a X-23 situation.
Yeah.
It was like more of like the genes is what created the baby. We also have a question from Terry. Are you looking forward to the Black Widow movie? I am. Kind of looking forward to it more now that I kind of know a bit more about Black Widow over the couple of months. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm just looking forward to a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
All right, so that was our number 3. All 3 of us had that as our number 3. That's very rare that does happen where it's not our number. It happens in our number 1s, but not like number 3s or 4s or 5s.
It was wild.
All right, so the next thing we talked about already was Daredevil. So we're going to dive into our number 2. So, Kat, what was your number 2?
Mine was Firepower. We already discussed it.
All right. Grant?
King in Black.
Gotcha. Mine was Thor, issue 10.
All right.
And I actually, between these 3 books, I, really hesitated on what was. But I'll give you my reason why in a minute when we get to number 1, which I think is next, right? Because that's all we have.
We already talked about Thor. So, yeah.
So King in Black is my number 1. The reason why I actually had this flipped, I had Thor as like my number 1. But when I look at King in Black, I looked at it and I sat there and said, this has been in the making forever and ever and ever. And I said, at the end of the day, this delivered at exactly the way I wanted it. And like I said earlier, it was almost like a movie reading this thing. So in very many ways, that's why it deserved that number 1 spot for me, because this could have been the book, right, that disappoints you. You've been waiting for however many issues of Venom, and then it just is a bomb, right? And how disappointed would have been? So this delivered in many ways. And the artwork, and we didn't discuss this earlier, the artwork by Ryan Stegman was phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
as always, yeah, and so cinematic. I love his art.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So that was my number 1. So Brant, what was yours?
Mine was actually Erratic. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was nice and surprising, and of course the Spider-Man similarities. I couldn't think of the word. Kind of sold me on it. But we already talked about it, so I won't go into it. But yeah, it really caught my attention, that book.
That's good. I'm happy that I got you guys to actually go out and read it.
Yeah, no, I'm happy you recommended it.
Yeah, for sure.
And Kat, what was yours?
Mine was Daredevil, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sweet. Really good. Man, I'm happy you guys read books that you don't normally read, and they actually they surprised you. I think that's awesome. I think that's really cool.
I love when that happens, because I feel like a lot of times you do try these new books and you're like, oh, never mind. They weren't great.
Yeah.
I think that happens a lot.
It's not my taste. But then you read it and you're like, oh, yeah. Like Elektra becoming Daredevil. Now next is Thor, so Jane Foster. That will be interesting.
I'm curious with Thor because I've read a couple of issues with Thor's. I have a feeling with Thor, it's only going to be the Jane arc unless she becomes a supporting character of the book. Just because I have tried Thor many times. Daredevil, this was kind of the first try in the middle of an arc. I tried it and I was like, oh, I really like this book. So we'll see with Thor, but I'll definitely get the next issue, probably physically, because I got to see that Valkyrie fight. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right. So that's it when it comes to the top 5. So we'll pass, and now we'll go on to that chopping block, right?
Very big chopping block this week.
Yeah, this is one of our longest chopping blocks. So
especially with only the 3 of us. Usually it's this long, like when Michael and Chris are on, because there's more people, but this is just the 3 of us chopping these books.
All right. So Kat is dropping King in Black.
I am, but I'm getting the tie-ins. I will hear everything about the main event through you guys, and I will be reading it through you guys. I'm also dropping Endless Winter because I don't need more than that.
We're all dropping Endless Winter.
We're all dropping Endless Winter.
Put that out there,
Yeah, all dropping that. I'm also dropping Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I half chopped it last time, and the only reason I picked it up is because I was getting like 10 books this week. I'm like, all right, let me try Buffy again. I'm like, I'm good. I'm no more Buffy for now. We'll see. I'll pick up that when Cordelia returns and actually has an arc. But other than that, I have not been really enjoying Buffy lately.
Gotcha. And let's see. And I'm dropping Champions. I read this issue, and I just disliked it. It was just very it was just all over for me. I just didn't like this particular issue. And then Viv is like living with some grandma. Like, I don't care. I just didn't like it. I'm just like, again, this is a book where it's like I can continue to read Champions, or I can read these King in Black tie-ins on something that I might enjoy better, right? So I don't know.
It wasn't the best issue of Champions, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of
and then who's dropping Hellions or half chopping? Is
Yeah.
that Brent?
Yeah, it's a half chop for me. I just don't know that I'm invested in these characters. And Quanon I'm interested in, and Havoc maybe, but the rest of them I just don't care about.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm just kind of. I'll give it one more.
I'm going to give it another couple issues. I thought this issue was okay. It was kind of weird though, the way like their mission, this current mission that they were on. You know, I was kind of interested in Psylocke though, on like what was going on with her.
Right. Yeah. The this whole child thing. That's the only thing that kept my interest at all, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then the last thing I think was I'm dropping. We already talked about it. Batman and Catwoman. I'm going to be dropping that also. So with Batman, Catwoman, Endless Winter, like stuff like that, that will open up room for me to buy those future state books. Save money for that.
You also have a question from Mohammed. Mike, are you done with Outlawed? That means
Outlawed. Yes, I could not get into Outlawed in general just because, unfortunately, when COVID came around, it kind of really dismantled that event in a way. And I just couldn't get into it. Like you had Miles Morales Outlawed, and you had Ms. Marvel, and you had all those, but that event, unfortunately, it was just bad timing with everything that went on. So I could never really get into it.
I think I'm only reading Power Pack and Ms. Marvel, I guess, but I haven't been loving Ms. Marvel.
I'm still reading Champions. I'm way behind on Miles at this point, but yeah, I'm sticking with it for now.
I haven't read Miles in a while. I just
me either.
Yeah, it's just not the same book anymore.
From what I gather, this current arc, it's about I think this issue was the end of the Ultimatum arc. So they had like Ultimate Giant Man or Ant-Man or whatever in it and stuff.
Like, didn't they have his like the Spider-Man again in there? Like his
the other Miles.
I think I read an issue of it and I saw him. I'm like, I don't want him back again. I was like, I don't need to see him.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, Brand, I'll pass it to you because we're going to talk about our most anticipated books that we're looking to read.
Yeah. So let's see. We'll start with Venom because that continues the King in Black. That's the the main series that is sprung out of, and I'm actually going to try it again. I keep trying Venom, but since I enjoyed King in Black so much, I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah, I think that this is. If you're going to read King in Black, I think this is the pivotal one that you need to read, because this is obviously going to deal with Eddie and maybe his situation on how does he deal with not having the Venom symbiote, because he got dropped into the city. So what's going to go on with him now?
Right. Yeah. And how did he survive that fall too?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that will be an interesting story there.
Yeah. So we got Marauders, Red Revenge. Does Kitty finally get revenge on Sebastian for killing her?
I'm so ready. As much as I really enjoyed X of Swords. I won't say love, that's a strong word, but as much as I enjoyed X of Swords, I've been ready to find out what's going on with Kitty. Come on, we need to see what's up with this.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. All right, Homesick Pilots, a new series from Image. The plot for this one sounded interesting to me.
They compared it to Paper Girl, so I'm like, yes.
Yeah, exactly. It was that kind of aspect of it that got me curious too. So we'll try it and hopefully we'll enjoy it.
Man, absolutely.
The art looks really good for that book as well.
Yeah,
like the colors. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah. We also got another Image comic that I think we all enjoyed, Crossover, issue number 2 coming out. Yeah. So
issue 1 was really good.
Yeah, really, really unique. So looking forward to that second issue and see where it goes from there. Captain Marvel number 24. She's still in the future place, right?
Yeah, I'm really not liking this arc. I'm going to
either.
continue through it. Like I'm still going to read it and pick it up, but I'm very much looking forward to the next arc.
Yeah. I'm kind of tired of her being in different times and different places, and just because like that first arc, she was into another reality, and now she's in the future, and it's like just do something cool, home based or something, or space or whatever. But anyway, 2 boom books we got Seven Secrets number 5, which we've all been enjoying.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to learn more about the villain on that one.
Yeah,
he's really the villain.
Yeah. Or is he actually the hero? Who knows? Then we read Mother number 11, which we got that that piece of the pie last issue where they all had the color names, and it's like, yeah. So
like
I hear this is.
It's like we figured out a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this might be the penultimate issue. I was on a podcast and they said it's only 12 issues. I'm like,
no.
What? I can't have this end. No. Oh man. So we'll see how that's gonna go.
That's gonna be heartbreaking. I love this book so much.
I know. I'm like, it's one of those books. I'm like, oh my god, Red Mother, I gotta read it.
It needs to come out forever. Like it's so good. There's no way I would. There's so many questions. Like I have so many questions.
I hope they're wrong and I heard it wrong, or they got their information wrong, because I do not want this book to end.
Yeah. I will say Kat disqualified me from using Red Mother in our best
I know.
book.
I had to put the hammer down.
One issue came out in December. I was like,
you have to do it. I'm sorry. Okay. You can't. Daisy's not a new character. But we'll have more Red Mother.
She's only a month old.
Yeah, she was still a month. Still a 2019 baby.
All right. So the last one we have is Avengers number 39, which is the Enter the Phoenix prologue. And I have not read Avengers in such a long time that this story, I'm going to try it. I'm going to see if I enjoyed this prologue.
Me too. Yeah. I'm trying it also. Same reason, Brant. Haven't read Avengers. I feel like I need to read Avengers, but there's never been a good story that really captures me. And if there's something that it's this Enter the Phoenix storyline. So we'll see how it goes.
Exactly.
You'll have to let me know how it goes, because I'm not reading this issue. But there is a book I do recommend you guys read, because I have read it for work and it wasn't on my radar. DC Dark Metal Last Stories. Almost every story in there seems like it's gonna spin off to something else, and a lot of big moments happen. Green Lantern, there's a big moment. There's a big moment for Batgirl. Those are 2 I really remember.
Is that for tomorrow?
Tomorrow it's coming out.
I've seen people talking about it on Twitter. Last Stories.
DC Last Stories?
Yeah, it's Last Stories. Let me see if there's
Dark
other
Multiverse Last Stories.
There was a big moment for Green Arrow. There's a new character introduced to us from the Arrowverse. There was a big moment for Wally West. There's a big moment for Roy Harper. There's a list. There's a laundry list of things that happen. I'm like, oh my god, we have to talk about this, because it's
I'll
a lot
happens.
I buy
a copy of this.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Because I stopped buying anything that was attached to that.
Yeah, me too.
Understandable. Yeah, I didn't even know about it, because I just had to do something for work, and I read it. I was like, oh, a lot happens in this book.
You're like, thank God for work, because otherwise I would have never read this.
Yeah, exactly.
And one thing, it's night. There's 2 things that happen in the Batgirl book. It's just what is? Wow. Okay.
Wow.
I'm curious if it's gonna go into anything else. If it does, it'll be interesting.
Cool.
There was a question on here by Terry. Says, hey guys, do you have an idea on how to stop Null? I saw another channel and they have a theory. I agree with them. Well, the only thing I can say that could stop Null is obviously if it has to deal with Dylan, that could be one thing. Mm-hmm. Or because he's been a pivotal player since this book has come out, or it has to do maybe a combination with something with light, because obviously Noel really likes the dark. If you've read this issue, I mean, he blocks the sun out in this issue, and he's just like, too much light, need more dark. And if you read a Web of Venom,
Phoenix, maybe.
Yeah, maybe Phoenix.
Yeah.
If you read that Web of Venom issue where Wraith got stripped of his symbiotic suit or whatever that he wears, there was this light that was extracted, and it looked like it was also heading to Earth. So maybe something of that nature is going to battle Null that has to do something with light. So I don't know.
That makes sense to me. I mean, traditionally the symbiotes, they react to sonics and fire.
Right.
So yeah, an extreme light source for Null seems logical. But yeah, I think it still has something to do with Dylan. The fact that they lock him away at the beginning of this kind of tells you he's got a pivotal part to play in this. It's not just a keep away. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. Like that comment there. Yeah, it does. It makes absolute sense. So we'll see what happens. So that's it. We talked about all the most anticipated, right?
Yep.
Yes. So we'll start wrapping up the show. We had such a good time chatting, and there's just so much cool stuff to talk about. I wish every week we had this amount of stuff to talk about.
Yeah. So yeah, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed the show. You guys have anything else going on besides the Kickstarters that you had already mentioned?
Back up that Kickstarter. I'll mention again. We just got to 350 backers. We are $501 away from 10K. We have until tomorrow at 11 a.m. We are definitely getting close on that one. Other than that, I am gonna probably do a Red X video on my channel. I did a video about Future Zen being more important, Future State being more important than we thought. So I've been trying to be more consistent with the topic videos now that the Kickstarter is over. So look forward to more stuff on my YouTube channel now that, I'm just not overwhelming my life with Kickstarter.
Yeah. And mine still got a week to go. It's ending 2 hours before this live show next Tuesday. So I'm going to do like a 1 hour live stream, close it out. So that'll be fun. And then this Friday, I don't know what time, but I'm going to join Will on closing out his crossover division. He's going to do a live stream as well. So we'll close that one out and hopefully finish that one strong too.
Awesome. And then guys, on my channel, if you're not watching on my channel now and you're watching on Comic Frontline, go on to Comic Book Corner 2.0, vote for cover of the year. This is the second to last week of the actual yearly voting. So next week will be the official nominees for comic book cover of the year. So make sure you go ahead and vote. And it's been an awesome year of doing that series once again. Stay tuned for the comic book haul tomorrow. And today what got posted was the top 10 most anticipated for books for 12/16/2020. So, and that's all I have. So, all right, guys, it's the time of the show where we all say goodbye. Thank you, everyone, for watching tonight's show. We had a great turnout of people watching. Thank you for all the wonderful comments. Again, give this video a thumbs up. Give it a subscription if you haven't on either channel. Hit that bell for notifications. Go on to our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it is, Twitch, MySpace. You find it. We're going to be there. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great night. Enjoy those comic books tomorrow. Hopefully you get everything that you want. Take care, everyone.
On AOL Messenger.